Welcome back to Forgotten Country. I'm your guest host, Mohammed, aka That Muslim Guy, and today we're going to talk about gender dysphoria. A topic that we hear so much about today is gender dysphoria. But what is it? Gender dysphoria is a sense of unease that a person may have because of a perceived mismatch between their biological sex and their gender identity. Let's take a trip down memory lane. Back in the early to mid 1900s, homosexuality was illegal, and the American Psychiatric Association listed homosexuality as a sociopathic personality disturbance. At this point in time, it is included in the DSM-5 as a mental disorder. Now we see gender dysphoria being pushed not only on adults, but on minors, children. And this agenda is being forced into schools, into classrooms as well. The new agenda being pushed is that any depression or anxiety being felt by children has nothing to do with external factors, but rather it's all internal. They are convincing children that these feelings, anxiety, depression, they are all due to gender dysphoria, and therefore they require gender-affirming care. Meanwhile, in places like the United States and Canada, therapists can lose their license if they even question their patient's gender dysphoria, even though that's literally their job, to make a psychological assessment. And this questioning of gender dysphoria could be deemed as illegal under the conversion therapy laws. They literally deem it as criminal. How does that make any sense? So rather than treating gender dysphoria, we are being told to affirm it. Meanwhile, the real treatment is psychological, to train the person's mind that they are in fact born in the correct body and that there's no discrepancy between their gender and their sex. But instead of treatment, the LGBT movement pushes the whole you are whatever you want to be. This agenda has honestly put therapists in a chokehold, and it's changing healthcare as we know it by simply ignoring reality. Receiving gender-affirming care rather than receiving the appropriate therapy can result in irreversible damage. We see this in cases whereby individuals who have transitioned after receiving gender-affirming care rather than obtaining the treatments they actually needed, some of those individuals are suing their governments. There's also the case of suicide rates within the trans community post-surgery. Studies show that gender-affirming surgeries do not actually result in improved mental health. According to the NHS, most treatments for gender dysphoria, especially involving children, should be more of a psychological than a medical nature. This is because in many cases, gender variant behavior or these feelings disappear as children reach puberty. Yes, the solution to gender dysphoria is puberty. A natural, biological, dare I say, organic solution. But instead, the LGBT movement and pharmaceutical companies are pushing puberty blockers, which in fact prevent the natural, biological solution. Furthermore, the Norwegian Healthcare Investigation Board has announced that it will be revising its gender-affirming care for minors because it doesn't view them as being evidence-based, and therefore will restrict the use of puberty blockers and hormone therapy. And yet, when anyone discusses any of the above, when anyone asks perfectly reasonable questions, they are shut down, labeled as transphobes, homophobes. It's even called hate speech. They're called bigots and ostracized from society. So why is this agenda being pushed in this manner? And what is the end goal they have in mind? Thank you for watching For God and Country. I'm your guest host, Mohammed, aka That Muslim Guy. And stay tuned for the rest of our 8-part LGBT series.